Hey, let's play it again. I don't think they heard. We're gonna try it one
Yeah,
more
they,
again.
you're
Hold
right.
on, y'all.
One more
We'll be
again.
right. We'll be right back. Hold on. Station identification.
So, you think you can do hair? Then join us every Monday at 12 o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel.
What are you waiting for? All right, there we go. There we go. That was our station identification. We still have to find out who made that song. I'm going to play it on my Shazam so I can get the artist. So, welcome to our ninth episode of So You Think You Can Do Hair. It's me, your homegirl Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lolo. And then right over here, y'all know who it is, right? It's the one and only Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle. And we are excited, at least from Cleveland, the excitement about, hold on, let me take, here you go. The excitement about the lunar solar eclipse is in Cleveland. It is in what Flavor Flav would say. It is in full EFFECT, otherwise known as effect. Boy, that's what's happening here in Cleveland. Nobody wants to talk about anything except the solar eclipse. There are signs that says uh, alert, traffic will be heavy. Maybe I'm missing something here, Oracle, but maybe you can enlighten us. What is it about the lunar slash solar, or the eclipse? How about we say that? It's solar eclipse. Okay, what is it about it that has people so excited?
Man, I think it's the last solar eclipse in a while. So this
Okay.
one is very special. It's supposed to be a reset or renew. And it's coming after, the new year actually starts at the summer solstice, kind of like right after when summer
And
starts.
spring. Okay.
Right. That's actually when the new year. Um, but Pluto in Aquarius, solar, new moon in the same day. Uh, it's kind of special. So
Oh,
the
now there are people.
omens.
There are people who are liking some of your comments, about uh, was it spring is the beginning of the new year? Was it summer? Okay, so spring, summer around this time is the real new year, okay?
Yes, right.
And then you're talking about the zodiacs and all. So some people are connecting that or associating that with like witchcraft, like
Mhm.
this isn't. So what about people who are fearful of this eclipse? Is this something that people think? Oh, in reality, your phone is not going to
Oh,
work.
your Mercury retrograde.
Okay, I'm not. I'm a hairstylist. So I don't know about making y'all cute out here in these YouTube and Facebook streets. You know what I'm saying? What about the fear that something bad is going to happen when this eclipse? Because that is, I've been hearing that too. That when that is it the moon and the sun is going to kind of pass, or
It's actually the only reason why you see it is because it's passing through Earth's path. If it wasn't happening in the Earth's path, you wouldn't see it. So it's gonna align, and then it's gonna align with Earth, and then the moon will be in front of the Earth, and then the sun, obviously in the center of the solar system. But it's gonna align. So on Earth, it's gonna appear to cross each other. If it didn't happen in front of Earth, if Earth didn't align, you wouldn't see it.
So if it was like if this was in front of Pluto or Neptune
Yeah, you
or
wouldn't see it.
Saturn, y'all remember Saturn? Remember Stevie Wonder used to have a song about way back Saturn where the people go. You know what I'm saying? When people used to live to be 205. Hey, that's a dope song. You guys should go, and
Yeah.
if you're really into the eclipse, the solar, is it lunar or solar? Which one is it?
Well, when it's passing in front of the moon, then it's a lunar eclipse.
Okay. All
When
right.
something is passing in front of the sun, it's a solar eclipse.
Okay, so solar eclipse, all right? You should go and play some Stevie Wonder. It's called Saturn. It's
Wow.
a wonderful, it'll make you feel so good.
Vintage Stevie Wonder.
Yes, go play. So, we were also thinking, because we're talking to the students today. Again, this is our 9th episode, and we're going to be talking about the challenges that you guys are going to be facing when you leave, or as you leave cosmetology school and enter the industry. And we were saying that my guest and I, before she left, that they should release some albums, like from the 70s, to kind of heal the world. Because I read your article, which, by the way, about Dr. Martin Luther King and the SD Monitor News. So that's 2 homework, students, that you must do. Number 1, you are going to go and play Stevie Wonder's Song in the Key of Life. I think Saturn is on that album. If not, it's on Hotter Than July. Okay, all right. So go listen to Saturn. I promise you, I don't care how old you are, you won't regret listening, especially today. And then number 2, I'll drop the link in the chat. Cheryl's article. What was the name of the article about Dr. Martin Luther King? Do you remember it?
America's Character.
Okay, America's Character. Oh my gosh. So given, what we're facing right now, I think both songs in the article is very befitting when we're talking about what challenges that's facing us in the industry. And so we were saying, they should just re-release some albums to kind of nurture
Help us out.
Help us out. And if I could think of one group, and I know y'all like, Ladosha, you're just so kumbaya, but it's true. If y'all listen to some Earth, Wind, and Fire, I think Earth, Wind, and Fire can just heal. So is there an album that you can think of that from back in the day, or a song that could really help heal the world? So while she's thinking, I got another one. If I Had a Hammer. They need to play that song. If I Had a Hammer in the morning. Good music,
Keep your head to the sky.
See, you're back to Earth, Wind, and Fire. See? I'm going to challenge some DJs to kind of re-release an album. You know what? Since you said you like disco music, how about we do it on the dumbest ish that people say about Black? So what we're going to do, we're going to start today, right now.
Speaking of, come on, y'all can get some Fifth Dimensions.
Yeah, we're gonna re-release. We're gonna do a re-release of albums. Now we don't own the right to these music that we're gonna be recommending, but we're gonna put Cheryl up to the task of giving us an album that should be released to help the world along with America's Character. Because when we go over this list of what you guys are going to be facing when you leave school and enter the industry of barbering and cosmetology, you're going to need a really good playlist to get you through some of the obstacles that you're going to overcome, because Cheryl and I, we believe in each and every last one of you. Each and every last one of you have what it takes to overcome the obstacles. And the podcast, So You Think You Can Do Hair, is really to be a source of encouragement. And sure, I don't know if you look at the numbers posted live, but we're pretty good. We're averaging at about 60 to 75 people who will watch this posted live. So to each and every last one of you who are watching this, we appreciate every last 40, 30, 65, 75 one of yous, because that means you're really looking for some support, and that is what this platform is about. So we know that you guys are definitely paying attention, and we actually have a cosmetology instructor in the chat. So we got the one and only Miss B. So and that's just more proof, and it's at your mom. So that's her mom's picture. Rest in peace to your beautiful mother. Your mom is just absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love the stories, and you got your hair looking like your mom. Her mom is just as beautiful as she is. And now that I know you more personally and I hear your stories about your mom, I can see why you have her picture up there because
Absolutely.
your mom definitely put a lot into you, and you're doing phenomenal things with your mother's legacy. And that's Miss B. She's the instructor over at Shaw High School, and she's very, I mean, in my career, and we're going to talk about some challenges. And we'll start off with this one. I'll use myself as an example while we have her in the chat, because I'm sure she has to get back to her students. But one of the challenges that I faced, not only when I left cosmetology school, Cheryl, but in my career, was my attitude.
Mm.
And we're going to go. I really want you to really hammer in on our attitude, not only just our position as we leave cosmetology school and enter the world of work, but I'm just going to use myself as an example. My attitude was my frustration with the customers. Number one, not doing what I asked them to do. And then number two, doing what I felt was like, why y'all playing stupid? So, and there actually is a complaint about my attitude. You guys can go check it out. It's on Yelp. And I was told they actually wrote this, and this is why you need to have your customers write reviews about you. And they definitely they wrote me out that I was very condescending, and that my tone, it wasn't it wasn't good. They did not have, they loved the service, but the way I got on them about what they were doing to their hair, it was a really crappy attitude. And so this is a challenge that we're going to definitely come across when we leave school and enter. Not everybody, I'm just talking about me. And I told Miss B about that because I felt bad. I was embarrassed. I couldn't play it off. You can't ask people to take them down. No, you don't get to complain to Google and say, take that down. Like, you can do it on YouTube, but you can't do that on Google or Yelp. And so she basically pulled me aside and just told me that I needed to learn the art of wooing. And but I didn't want to do that because I felt like I didn't want to be, I ain't kissing their ass, you know what I'm saying? And so she gave me one good lesson on it, and you know what? She held me accountable. So let's start off with that one issue. And thank you so much, Miss B. And she continues to hold me accountable by letting me know that I hear about you and you're doing good. So people are still talking about me, and Miss B is still watching me. So let's start off with that, Cheryl. That's a challenge. In school, it's the frustration of you're trying to work with people who you feel they're not working with you, and So is it us or is it them? Because it just couldn't be me. So when Miss B pointed out that it was me, I struggled with that.
Mm-hmm.
How could it be me?
Was this in beauty school?
I think I had been out for maybe about like 10 years, which is relatively still new, a little bit. I mean, working. I mean, I had the license that long, but I still consider 10 years is kind of a little young, given people have 30 and 40 years. So yeah.
At 10 years, you should have gotten it.
But I didn't have it. Okay, so at 10 years, she said you should. And so I didn't have it at
Mm-hmm.
10 years. My attitude. I had a business. It wasn't good.
And let me just say this: I don't even know. I don't even think it's so much your attitude, more than you learning a new way to to shift your attitude. Because when you're a professional, you are supposed to lead your client. But I will say, I got a similar lesson, and this is about 6 years ago. Um,
Okay.
and I obviously more longer than 10 years in, but my business colleague at the time, and she would sit in on some of my consultations, right? and I probably had a sense of self and knew what I was doing. Um, but she did give me, I had a little glitch, as she called it. And that glitch was, she says, "You are a great educator." She says, "But are you open to some feedback?" She did ask me. And then, of course, you just say, "Yo, yeah, sure,
Sure, that's what I told Miss B. Oh, yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
help me out.
sure. But you got to get ready for it. And she said, "You come off as reprimanding." And she says, "Experts know what they know." She says, "But you have to have just a drop of compassion because they don't know. And you come off as if they should know." And so, uh, it's a little, and she gave me some techniques.
Now, so did you feel irritated, like in your conversation? Did you ever feel like you were irritated in your career?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because that's what I felt. I mean,
Right. I suffered from the same thing. But here's the thing: is that what you are using your knowledge and trying to pour into your client or pour into your audience at the time, you have to maintain your expertise and professionalism, and to make sure that you understand that they don't know. um, they don't know because they don't want to know. They don't know because they just don't know. And if you could ease up on the reprimand, because the reprimand is almost like your mom told you to wash the dishes, and then she comes home and you didn't wash the dishes, and so she kicks your ass. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. But a client is when in other words, we don't have to make the client wrong to correct them.
oh
I think
my,
that because
I like that one.
right,
Okay.
yeah, because I think that you have to remember, most people don't mind being wrong, they just don't want to feel wrong. And if we don't make them feel wrong, I think that we could turn them and give them other pieces of information, and there's just a different result. But that's mastery. That's a whole
Right.
level.
Yeah, and I think Miss B. That's why she gave me the challenge. In the homework. I shouldn't say challenge. To learn the art of wooing.
Hmm.
Because if you are abrasive, and I think when we're in school and we're so anxious to get out there, right? And we want to build that clientele. I know for me, I just kind of felt like, are you wasting my time? I just felt very irritated. And so I just really wanted to just really bop, bop, but now that you made the statement, you make the client feel wrong. And so as we, continue this discussion, in this ninth episode about the challenge. The attitude is really, really, really important. But you said something very poignant that we want all of you guys to understand is that asking for feedback is a part of something that you want to do to help overcome these obstacles in your career is to ask for feedback. And then like you said, you got to get ready because like you said, they said, would you like some are you open to receive some feedback?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So Miss B, she just wrote, we don't buck the doctors, but they want to challenge the hair doctor. Oh, okay. So she's kind of saying some of the same things that you're saying, that sometimes the customer just feel that need to challenge the cosmetologist. And it could be, because they think we don't know as much, but a lot of it is how we basically set the tone for that salon visit, no matter how long we've known the customer. Is that what you're saying? Correct?
Absolutely. And, and
Okay.
there's a level of when you have to remember, when you do cite something wrong, you can make it just for the sake of something being wrong. When you make it the wrong personal, that's when they begin to be contrary. And
Mm.
that's when the power struggle is there. But ultimately, they all, and it's all in, in sales. Because once you make the person feel that they're making the best decision for themselves and you just throw it out there as if, oh my God, you don't want this, do you? And then they, of course, oh no, I don't. And then they feel that, it's a technique, and it is that professional mastery uh,
Hmm.
when you become an expert. And when you want to become an expert, it kind of is your responsibility to be able to, in a very subconscious psychological way, make the customer comfortable enough to self-correct. And then you can.
Okay. All right. And what we could do to help further this discussion along is maybe in a future episode, we could talk about, what's the scenario. So I will play I will play out the scenario, and
Mhm.
Cheryl will give the resolve. And so I think what I'll even try to do is I'll actually get a customer in the chair. Maybe I'll get one of my team members to kind of role play. We'll do a role play, and we'll give you guys some in real time, real life experiences of working with what we feel is a challenging customer. Because customers can be that way, but
Oh,
like
very.
you said, it's definitely in your attitude. Okay, and then Miss B also says, but when you comfort your customer and allow him or her to feel that he or she is special as well, that we're just working hand in hand to be a talking head for us so you can look good and you make us look good, more customers will come. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Miss B. Now she's an expert at this. So let's move on to our second challenge that's facing us when we leave cosmetology school and we enter the real world of working behind the chair. The next one is burnout stress. I'm working too many hours. I'm trying to accomplish this task, this hair color, this braid style, and I've been doing this hairstyle for maybe like 5 or 6 hours, and the customer doesn't want to pay. It's the end of the night. I'm tired. I'm just burned out, and I'm doing this sun up to sundown year after year. Or for in a cosmetology student, a person who's just leaving, they've probably been doing this in their basement or at home in the garage, not getting any money. So they've already entered it burned out. So the challenge of burnout and stress, how do students navigate or prevent, or is burnout and stress? They just got to get ready. It's going to be part of the job. Which one is it? All right, students, we keeping it. This is what we're talking about on So. You think you can do hair?
Yeah. I only experienced burnout in one time period of my career after I learned the secret formula. So, you know, I think we always quantify money in the amount of clients we can fit in an 8 to 9 hour period. And once we understand, let's say, um, if an artist, right, was stressed to paint, you know, 20 by 20 canvases and to come up with this masterpiece, and they were supposed to do 12 of those a day, that obviously is unrealistic. And I think that we're not mindful and conscious of planning out our day. And so let's just say we can put all of our time consuming, right? Hairstyles at the beginning of the week when you're rested, anything closer to Monday, a weekend. But then put all of your light work, maybe Thursday, Friday, and then make very light work on Saturday. So you can at least go into Sunday not as exhausted. And then, of course, Monday, you can sleep in. And then that Monday, maybe do some studying and then go ahead and get groceries and whatever the case may be. But you really do have to be mindful of
Mm.
how you want your
Now,
day to
now,
go.
now, see, I didn't do that, but that's some very good advice. Now, just to let you guys know, now remember, Cheryl and I, we are not cosmetology instructors, but we do know we have the latest book compliments of Miss B, who helped me get this Milady's book. Now, Barbers, you guys have your book as well. I don't have one of yours. So perhaps if there's a cosmetology instructor out there who wants to donate one to the So You Think You Can Do Hair podcast, Cheryl and I would greatly appreciate it. But if you open up your book and you turn to page 23, interpret the psychology of success, you're going to find that a lot of the advice that Cheryl is giving you is also in your book. And so, one of those steps that they talk about is setting goals. And that's what Cheryl just said. Now, a lot of us want to get the money. Oh, we get that part. But goal setting, will that interfere with me trying to get the money? Like, I can't set goals because I'm trying to get this money.
Yeah, well,
Help
goals.
me.
Yeah, goals is probably in my opinion, goals is not quite appropriate for
Okay.
cosmetologists per se, but I think that because you're making someone pretty, you're making someone handsome, right? And there is no transfer of power from you into doing that when you're spent and you're tired. So if you can, you're going to have, let's just say you do 9 hours a day. And so you're going to have to split, you're most energized when you come in. That is when you're going to have to look at what kind of service you're going to put in those hours. Okay. And then after 1 o'clock, you are declining in your energy. Okay.
Really?
You're declining. Okay. And so that is when you want to make sure that you have an hour lunch. Okay.
Guilty. I don't do lunch. Oh my gosh. We're gonna make a podcast on why we should do lunch. Oh gosh, let me write that one down. Go ahead. Cheryl says we gotta do lunch. I am so horrible.
Okay. You can do a smoothie, give you more energy. You can have, and I wouldn't do the crash and burn energy drink, but a nice smoothie that gives you some real authentic energy. And that's when you can do a braid job. And that's when you can probably do some of your most, 2 or 3. You don't want to pack anything after 1. You want to do very light blow dries or whatever the case may be. So you can really be mindful of what you're putting in the first 5 hours, and then in your
But you don't consider that goal setting because you said you wasn't.
no,
You're kind of.
well, because the goals are something that are usually much more inclusive of a vision, but I want you to make sure, I want you to attach it to your personal energy, because it is your energy that has to be transferred onto your client. So if you have something that is labor intensive and you're declining in your attention span, you just ate, and you do make sure that you organize that to where those are blow dries and very easy work. Do your difficult work in the morning to 1. And I'm just basically saying, but you have to be mindful that you are the most important person, because it's your energy. When you say goal, it's almost like it's out there.
Ha ha.
Your how you feel in the course of the day is how that person is gonna feel, because you're gonna give them your whole attention. So let's just say if I knew I had 3 intensive coloring, I would not put those in the evening. I just wouldn't, because I already know at that point home is getting a little closer to my car keys. It just, that is house that don't require a lot of attention. Color is time consuming.
Yeah.
It's attention consuming.
Yeah. It's very
consuming. It's, you got to be alert. And so I would just put those things in the earlier part of the day. And you have to plan it out, because you are trading money for time. That is what a hairstylist, especially in the beginning of your career, money for time. how much time, and then what is so important with time? Your energy.
Mm.
My energy in this hour and a half, this energy in this hour and a half, this energy in an hour and a half, and then the person comes in, she wants to talk, or he wants to talk. And so it's a lot of emotional and physical energy that you have to deploy to get your customers out of your chair.
All right, okay. And the cosmetology teacher strikes again. And so she says her secret formula was to stop being greedy and set my schedule for a real job schedule, being able to accommodate who I can accommodate for those hours. That's what Shirley's saying. Match that energy between 9 and 5, and then go home and rest up so she can be her best self for the next day. So energy is very, very important. I know that's not a word that's often used in the education of barbering, cosmetology, nail techs, and the skincare aesthetics. But we're telling you guys, this is really, really, really important. And feel free to drop your questions in the chat about any challenges that you are currently having in school as you're about to leave and enter, or maybe you just opened your loft, or you're working behind the chair and you're really already starting to feel some kind of way about the challenges that are facing you, such as your attitude and burnout. The next one is a little bit controversial because this is something that people are just everywhere you turn, everywhere you go, it's in the news, and that is exposure to chemicals. And so this is something that they feel that this is a challenge for those of us who work in the industry of hair, skin, and nails, is our exposure to chemicals. So how can students and new jacks, navigate exposure to chemicals? Is that something they should be concerned about? Do they have a responsibility? So on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. No, and let's just make it a little more direct.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a sensitivity to fumes, um, you would know that in your own personal home, right? In your own personal bathroom, if you are hypersensitive to vapors, fragrances, because I know we say chemicals, but these things actually wash out to fragrances, okay, fumes, residues, anything that we heat up and we blow out. And I think that we did talk about that in our 100th episode of the
The
dumbest
dumbest.
shit.
Mhm.
But it was the learning how to style greener, learning that maybe there is a humidifier, and they're so cute now, right? And so they can be sat right there on the corner of your station, or get there early and air out your wonderful salon that's been pent up all day, all night, right? And just air it out in the morning, and wipe down anything that, especially your irons. Wipe down your flat irons even before you start. That's why it's important to get in there early so you
Mm.
start with clean tools. If you are even medium sensitive, because after a while, it's so funny because I drove yesterday in my brother's car, and he had a little timely mister of fragrance. That shit, I told him, look, turn that shit off. I had to open up the windows because I am, and you become more sensitive through the years. I and my dad was really sensitive, and just years of being in a salon, but you can't air it out. You get in early, open up the doors, turn on the fans, and then by the time your customers do come in, and there's so many wonderful machines that remove toxins, resins, anything that hangs around in your LED lights or anything um, in your floor.
Okay.
But you
Okay.
have to get in there early to make sure
All
you.
right. Okay. So Miss B also says some of you guys in school They're asking you already that you need to wear your have your gloves and wear your mask to help, with irritation on your skin. And if you are sensitive, the mask can help. But remember, she said you got to keep in mind now, you guys are new, not as an age, but as an entering the industry. But she says the longer you work in the industry, it is not uncommon for people to become a little bit more sensitive the longer you stay in the industry. So it doesn't matter how old you are chronologically, but pay attention and just kind of be mindful. Well, not kind of, be very deliberate and very mindful of your workspace and your environment. And one thing you can surely do is open up the door. We do that all the time here at the hair salon. I know you talked about plants. Can you go over that just a little bit more about what plants can do for your environment in a barber shop or where,
And let me just say this. And when you are, obviously, I hope mask is for when you're doing a service. But in the general speaking, there is so many wonderful in the corner to humidifiers. And then for CO2, add plants. It adds so much more to the quality of the air quality in any spa, salon, or anything such as that. Every station should have a plant. Okay, and it is so much um, more balanced for the ecosystem and the air quality. So plants, 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 plants. I think we talked about that. You guys can
yeah.
hear our 100th episode of the dumbest ish, and you can we do teach you, about the smokeless styling and adding plants in the environment, and humidifiers and things of that nature.
All right, okay. So next up, another challenge. Now, we did talk about this in the previous episode, so we won't stay on it too long because, again, we want to make sure we're off so you guys can get back to your studies. And again, thank you so much, Ms. B, and all the wonderful students at Shaw High School representing baby. Is the issue of social media. So
Mm.
this is something that they're using this to kind of, how they say it, unravel the industry. Is saying that, one of the reasons why this industry is not what it used to be is because people can go onto social media and do what's called look and learn. So if I want to learn how to do it quickly, if I want to learn how to do stitch braiding, if I want to learn how to do foils, if I want to learn how to pluck eyebrows, if I want to learn how to do individual lashes, I don't need this education. I could just go on social media. So that's a challenge that could be making people not want to listen in class. Like, I ain't listening to Miss B. I saw Key Lolo. She got 1 million followers. And, so how do the students work with the challenge of, I can learn that on YouTube. I don't need to listen to my instructor.
Well, there's a difference between learn and technique. You may look at a visual, at a video, what they call a tutorial, and you can how um, see how it's done. Now, I know all of us has been a passenger in a car before we learned how to drive. Being a passenger is not like driving, right? And so and you see them pressing the gas and the pedal and turning the wheel and parking and driving you to wherever you need to go. But there's a reason why cosmetology is split. It is split in between the floor and the classroom. And the classroom is to give you the knowledge and information, but the floor is to give you muscle memory. Muscle memory is doing something what we call practice, right? And so you don't get that on YouTube. You don't get that on a short or a reel on social media. And so you can go at it, but the more you do it, the more you apply an eyelash, the more you apply a color, the more you blow dry, the more you do this or you do that, guess what? It's in your fingers. It's in your wrist. It's in your the way your hands are set. And that is what we call muscle memory. And so it's a combination of both. And even though I can, watch a video on how to reset my oil on the digital, on my Cadillac. At the end of the day, there's nothing like remembering and doing it, so you can make sure that in case you do lose that video, you do lose something, it pretty much is in the muscle memory. I kind of know how to do it in terms of applying something. You know,
Mm-hmm.
something you just don't learn it through
Watching.
tutorial. And there's a reason why cosmetology is practice and theory. Theory and
Mm.
practice.
Right.
Practice, theory. So because it's a combination of your brain and your hands. And it's experience. So because like the first time ain't like the last time. The last time
Mm.
is perfected. The first time you're just trying it out and it just gets better. So you really can't replace a visual with the actual doing. So
All right.
that's
So what you're saying is that the barbering and cosmetology education is not only liquorship, it's definitely a lot of brain power, and that's kind of being
mhm,
overlooked because your ego will have the tendency to make you feel like just because you can do something that you know something, but then when
mhm,
you have a problem, you'll be like, I don't know. If we take it, I know hair coloring is one of those things that people really think they can look at it and they can just mix it up and put it
mhm,
on there, and then when it doesn't work out, they're like, what happened? So one of the things that we see a lot of people do is they'll put like these rinses on top of their hair,
mhm,
and they feel like, oh, this is really easy to do. And then the cosmetologist will, service that customer and not realize that there's something already on the hair because they really think, oh, it's just a rinse. And I saw this on YouTube and I could just take some powder lightener and slap it on, and then they realize, uh-oh. And so
something was
that's
missing.
one of
Yeah.
those examples where you need more brain power because a lot of what we're doing, you're definitely going to need some in-depth knowledge to solve the problem to bring about the results.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, when you're really experienced at it, you're going to use your ears, you're going to use your eyes. Sometimes I'll diagnose something by smelling it.
Mm,
Smell a person's scalp, and if it has a different scent to me, that will also make me go look for something different. And it's a combination, and it's the practice that makes a person experienced enough to not just rely on a visual.
mm.
Sometimes you have to use your nose. Sometimes you have to use your feel. Sometimes you have to ask the client questions that'll make you extract things that she probably would not be forthtelling to you.
Right.
Uh, and so is a combination of things, and that is being present, and it's called practice.
Right, and that's something that you can't get watching a video. So a video would definitely entice you. It would bring you, it'll give you that false sense of security, like, hey, I can do this. But what I like in our salon, our interns are always fearful of mistakes, but especially around hair coloring and relaxing hair. But one of the things that I always tell them, make all the mistakes you can
Mhm.
because in the mistakes, you learn so much. Nothing is more fascinating than just, excuse the expression, effing up
Yeah.
somebody's hair color. You want to F it up because do you want to see this science come to life? Do
Mhm.
you want to see your educational investment, your dollars that you've been, paying every month or, sending out cash app or writing a check or paying it in cash? Do you want to see that investment unfold like never before?
Mhm.
Mess up, make a lot of mistakes, and you will learn that angles matter in a haircut. You will see that red and blue really does make green. You will see all types of. You will see the relaxer really began to denature the fabric. You will see the science come to life. You don't get that when you watch videos, and then like Cheryl said, it becomes very, very personal because now the gears in your brain start to connect, and guess what? Now you're in a higher thought level. Because I remember when I was doing hair coloring, right? When I first was learning it, and Teresa Mercadante, I hope you are still around in the industry. She was one of the first people who introduced me to hair coloring. And so she was teaching me, so I'm doing the color, and I said, so blue neutralizes orange because I'm going to do my formula. And she says, right. So when I got finished, she took my whole ticket. And I cried. I wish my customer, Tisa, if you're watching this in the chat, she would tell you she was there. I cried, I cried, I cried. You know why she took my ticket?
No.
Because I didn't have the knowledge to know that blue neutralized, it was going to cool that orange. And because she said that's where the money is at. I could mix the formula for you. You can apply. You could be the best foiler. You could create all the designs. You could do the visors. You could do all these techniques. You could copy off of YouTube while you want to. Can you do the formulation? And that's where the power is. And I was just so, I was so hurt because that was my first big, like $350 ticket, but I lost it because I lacked knowledge.
And you always remember what, unfortunately, for lack of a better word, hurts, but it's actually a wrinkle on your brain. No one wants a brain smooth like a crystal ball. The brain wrinkles
I love you, Cheryl.
to pack space.
Say that again. Hold on. I gotta. What? Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Cheryl. Hold on. Wait a minute. Y'all know every time Cheryl does this, y'all know what I gotta do, right? Hold on. Here we go.
What you talking about, Will?
Come on, y'all. Do one thing, Cheryl. Before you answer that, show them how they can help make this platform a lot better. She's going to tell us a little bit more about that brain wrinkling, but show them how to hit that thumbs up button because I see y'all coming through the chat. Show them how to do it, Cheryl. Watch this, y'all.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
All right, we're 9 episodes in to So You Think You Can Do Hair, and we're talking about the challenges of leaving cosmetology school and entering the world of work. And now we're talking about the whole challenge of social media and lookership. And then Cheryl is going to go into this whole diatribe about nobody likes a smooth brain. They don't want a brain that is smooth as a crystal ball. The brain must have wrinkles. And then I had to say this.
What you talking about, Will?
So who else in the chat wants to know, what do you mean by smooth brain, wrinkles in brain? Help us out.
No. You cried and you were devastated. And I'm just saying that most people would say, ouch, that hurts. But, one of my mentors would always say, you don't want to have a brain smooth as a crystal ball. It's supposed to hurt. That's a wrinkle. And when there's a wrinkle on your brain, most people will see that the brain, once it gets more information, it'll wrinkle because what the brain does as a muscle, it contracts and make a wrinkle to conserve space. And so you want wrinkles on your brain. That's why you remember. Or a light bulb must the filament has to coil because it wants to pack a lot of energy, but because of space, it must coil. So
wow,
it's nature's way of conserving space.
All right, there you go. You want a wrinkle in your brain because a wrinkled brain gives you more space for knowledge. So to my point, although I didn't say it as dope as Cheryl, make more mistakes. because that will put that wrinkle in your brain, and that gives you, literally, it gives you more brain power. So the embarrassment of making a mistake, that gut feeling like, you got to go to the bathroom, we call that challenging, that, like, that solar plexus. You want to get that gut feeling. If you're working behind, if you're in school right now, you're in cosmetology, you're in barber school, you're in nail school, you're in the school of aesthetics, right? And you've really effleuraged the platysma, rotate up the sternoid, cledoid, mastoid. You're doing all your muscles and all this stuff, and you just feel so good. But you never get any of that blip in the screen, then you're probably not maximizing your learning potential. You want to mess up and call the wrong muscle. You want to mess up and gash that hair. You want to mess up and turn that hair green, because part of that ticker, you want to get a wrinkle in that brain, because a wrinkled brain will give you more space for knowledge, something that lookership will never ever give you. It'll keep that crystal ball nice and smooth, and then you'll be like me, getting your tickets taken because you thought lookership, like, I could just ask. I don't have to know the color wheel. I'm just going to keep asking for help. You can look at the color wheel and you can make reference, but you need to know this stuff. You can't continue to keep asking people, hey, blue does neutralize, or, you know what I'm saying? So that's where we're going with that. Okay, we got about 10 more minutes. So we have two more issues, just challenges that people are going to face when they leave cosmetology and barbering school and they're going to enter the world of work. And that one is this one right here: advanced education. All right. I'm in cosmetology school. I just, do I really have to do this, Cheryl? Really have to do advanced education? Is this really going to be needed for me? I mean, because when I get my license, I'll have 2 years before I have to pay for the renew. So will I really have to get more education?
Let's change the word. You're talking continued.
Yes, continued education.
I am in the middle of on that. I would probably say just continual experience, because of course continual education is connected to brands, and I, uh, I'm in the middle of on
So
that one.
aren't there two ways? Like, can you go with a brand and then you can go and say something like the Afro Hair Summit? Because you want to know what's out there. I mean, like, this is a day, shameless plug. This is Shannon, shameless plug. He's our rep. So a day with Nairobi is for professionals. You get 4 CEUs. And so they're going to teach you all about their products, per what you said. It's definitely going to be, and you do need to know about product brands. But in addition, you're also saying,
Um, yeah, and I think that the student is hopefully educated and smart enough to know that brands are ultimately leading you to buy them, and that product knowledge may not be brand knowledge, and so I'm in the middle um, in that. I think that is.
so should they go? Should they get it? I mean, your mic is kind of breaking up too.
Uh,
So should they get more advanced or continuing education when they leave, or should they wait? What do you recommend for them?
I would say additional information. Sometimes you know what you don't know what you don't know, and maybe continual educations could expose some of those questions. However, Afro Science Summits, the one we have in October, is designed to um, steer away from brands, so to speak, and to always be more industrial and
Now, what's the challenge? What's wrong with? And we're not knocking Nairobi, but what's wrong with brand knowledge? Just to give them another school of thought. What is what has been your experience or a trouble or concern about brands
mhm,
teaching?
mhm. Oh, because brand marketing and brand product knowledge is designed in the marketing department, not in the lab.
Hmm.
And so,
Okay, guys.
right. And so, usual chemistry and scientific and cosmetic science is aligned no matter what the brand is. But if the brand is steering you in a specific direction, the brand could be akin to a trend, or a service. And therefore, that knowing that brand would be important. But for the rule of thumb, as professionals, we dictate what the industry standard of what is to be known and shared, or for someone to be to learn, and not the brands so much, if that makes sense.
That makes a whole bunch of sense. All right. So last but not least, how about we talk about the issue of the ever-changing needs of the customers? So that's something that is a challenge. So we've already highlighted quite a few things from your attitude. We also talked about burnout. We talked about chemical exposure. We talked about right now. We're talking about education, making mistakes, and so on and so forth. So now that you got all of this together, now you got that customer who you're doing this. You got it together, and now all of a sudden they want their hair cut off, or they've been blonde like this and now they want to be black, or they want to go natural, and you're just really like, dude, like how do these barbers, like, one minute you want locks of brown, the next minute you're at home, you keep pushing your hairline back, and how do they navigate these ever changing following trends of customers?
Mm-hmm. Some clients have talked about it before, they've mentioned it, right? And I don't recommend one visit changes. Not in my because of course we have a rapport, and I think we should talk about it. I think hairstylists should take them through the test that cosmetic surgeons take their clients when they want to get breast augmentations, or they get a nose augmentation, or they get something different, and they get liposuction, because they're a different image, and you want to talk to them why they want something, and the safest way to obtain it. What is their long-term goals? So I don't necessarily like the one visit change, and just, but I do think it's something that you should entertain.
Mm,
That's your client, but
mm-hmm.
the one visit, all of a sudden, not a big fan of that.
So the cosmetologist and the barber, are you saying that they just have to constantly be open for change?
Oh, well, you have to be open to servicing them and entertain their whims, because it could be temporarily. It can be temporary. What if they want to just say, "Oh, well, I don't want that now. Thanks for talking me, through that. You didn't say no or yes."
Hmm.
But because since, and then two, maybe one of those wants they may need. What if it's out of your skill set?
Hmm.
What if that's not your best skill set? And so now at that point, you need to recommend them to one of your colleagues that is much more just like doctors. I'm good at, brain surgery, but not heart surgery. It's a whole nother, thing. Don't just say, "Oh yeah, I can do your heart," when you can't.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
That's something that's really uh, hard, because you got this license that says you're a cosmetologist, you're a barber, you're an esthetician, and you're a nail tech. You've been exposed to a lot, but when a customer says, "I want you to build me up a nail. I don't want a tip. I don't want an
Yeah.
artificial nail. I really want you to build this nail up." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I could do that," knowing that the tips might really be your thing, and the art of passing that over to somebody else when you need that money. How are they gonna balance that? Like, couldn't they just fake it till they make it? Like, couldn't they just try it and maybe, just maybe?
Well. Here's the thing. Um, This is this is actually the advantage of not being in a suite. This is the advantage of being in a salon.
Uh,
This
Let
is
me clap that hand right quick. Hold on. Hold on. This is the advantage of not being in a suite. Here we go.
right. And because that person didn't have that client before, and you send them to them, hey, give you a part of the ticket, because you're working, together, and you can share the client, because of course, at the end of the day, they may like the way you condition and wash and things of that nature, but they want something that this particular person is very good at, so you guys split the ticket. I mean, it's this, other industries do it, and it's called a recommendation and a preferred. Okay, thank you for the client. I wouldn't have had her in the first place, or had this gentleman in the first place, and you're better at fades, but he liked the way I shave him, so let's split the ticket. But there's
Hey, I'm a big fan of that because at our salon, we're known for hair coloring. This is our claim to fame. We're not the weave set. We got some great braiders and so on and so forth, but coloring is our thing. So whenever somebody is like, I want my weave slayed, I want this, I'm like, you need to call Cecily. Then I will go into my phone, which I have no problem doing, right? And I will look up Miss Cecily's number, and then I will have them. And this is exactly what I do. She doesn't mind me doing this because we have to do. There, her number is. It's in my phone, and she's at Alice's International. And you can contact her at area code 216-825. 3500 and tell Cess that Ladosha sent you from the Reverence Design Team Hair Salon, because we don't want to mislead a customer. Cecily is one of those people. Now, I mean, some people might say, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know about going to somebody else. I can't. I was referred to you, so I want you to do it." Listen, you don't want Kilolo doing your weed. You want to go to Sess, okay? And you have, and this is something that you're not going to lose the ticket, okay? I have her number is actually in our, like you said, it's like a doctor who refers you to the ENT. Your dentist is not going to be able to do that. He's a doctor too, so he's going to refer you out. Like she said, I do hearts. I don't do this. So you want to contact Cess at 216-825-3500. Shameless plug, because this is what she does. And so what's going to happen is, to those customers who goes to Cess and they really like the way she slays the weave, you know what they end up doing? They still tell people about you. They'll say, that salon is so nice. You know, when I called up there and I wanted my weave done, they couldn't do it. They referred me to somebody else who did a really good job. And that actually will get you more customers because you were forthright, right, Cheryl?
it's integrity, and it's working with your colleagues. It's and that is how you participate. Participate in your industry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Participate in it. You're not the only one in it. You don't do everything well. You do have some favorite things you love to do, and that's your passion and purpose. There are some general practitioners, and there's also specialists.
Mm-hmm.
This
All right.
is what it is.
All right. Okay. So this has been a solid 1 hour in, and this is our ninth episode of So. You think you can do hair? It is me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright. And then over here, you have the one and only, whoop, there's my finger, Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle. And we are here for you guys every Monday at 12:30. And again, we want to give a super duper shout out to everyone who watches us post the live. Clearly, this is working. And this is compliments of Samaria Smith. And she's our graduated. She completed her hours, and now she's about to get ready to go and take her license. Her exams sometime in the near future. And so, if it wasn't for her, Cheryl and I wouldn't be doing this. And don't forget, by the way, you can go to your page 23 of your Milady's book of cosmetology barbers. You may have a different page, and it's going to give you a little bit more insight. We're going to be back next week And I want Cheryl to expand that conversation a little bit more about the difference between continuing education with the brand and getting some real education, what your options are, because a lot of people might really think the only way to get more education is through brands like these. And so Cheryl and I, we're going to also highlight the Afro Hair Summit, just so you guys can get a good feel for other ways that you can broaden your knowledge behind the chair and get some more wrinkles in that brain. Cheryl, you also gave me a couple of good ideas, by the way, talking about we got to do lunch. That's a good episode. Scenario, we're going to do some role playing. And then also splitting the ticket and sharing clients. I think that would be a dope podcast because these are my customers.
Wow.
They ain't sharing the ticket, so we're gonna have to talk about that a little bit more. Okay, any closing thoughts about the topic today of the challenges in the barber and beauty industry?
And just like you can client share, you also can um, do some consultation share. You can also get some advice sharing. Information sharing is so important, and I think it builds confidence. So good luck out there, guys.
All right, okay. You know what we say when we're signing out, right? Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. So we'll be back here at 12:30. And don't forget, drop those questions in the chat. And big ups, Miss B, Shaw High School, Mr. Shannon, go check his class out. And then, of course, Miss Sess, you know how much I love you. Thanks for allowing me to give you guys some wonderful, shameless plugs. All right, have a good day.
So, you think you can do hair? Then join us every Monday at 12 o'clock on the Afro Hair Science YouTube channel.